welcome to another edition of this week's Nature World. Here with me, Orcus Crikey, and my good cameraman Jessica. Now, we're going on a hunt for two very special dogs. One of them is an Australian Shepherd cross of the Border Collie, and the other is a Cockapoo, which is a Cocker Spaniel and a Poodle combined. Now, let's go see if we can spot the little buggers.
Let's just stop that right there. That dork in the hat? That's me, circa 2008. This was the first episode of Nature World, a show I used to do with my sister where I pretended to be a Steve Irwin, Nigel Marven type character and wrangled dangerous animals, who usually ended up just being the household pets.
Something we all believe to be extinct long ago. The caveman, or better
Looking
known
back
as
on it
the
now,
Neanderthal.
it seems kind of doofy, and
Now,
it
we're going
definitely
hunting
was
for
kind
this
of doofy.
beastie.
But it was really
We're
fun to
not
do,
quite
and it was
sure
something
where to
that
find it.
really gave my life
So,
focus, just making
That's
these
why I got
little
myself
videos.
my handy dandy knife.
We're clear. So fire your guns, I'll be here. You cannot drive me away this winter. Fire your guns, I'll be here. I love you, darling, I'll be here. You cannot drive me away this winter. Fire your guns, I'll be here.
Fast forward 6 years. So, you might be asking yourself, how did that little doof with the camera, who seemed so happy making those videos, become that angry teenager? Well, for that, we're going to have to go back a little ways. Take a good long look at this little twerp. This is me, then Devin James Severson. Born March 12th, 1993, at like 3 in the morning on a Friday. That doesn't really matter. Now, obviously, I'm not going to bore you with all the fine details, but you do kind of have to go back a ways to trace a story like this. So this is my parents. That's not actually me, that's my brother, but I really like this picture of my parents. If I haven't lost you yet, this is me and my brother and my dad. I'm the little one in the middle, obviously. But this is kind of starting to get to around the time where I started to feel like something was wrong. Obviously, I'm too young to really form coherent thoughts on the subject, but I knew something was off. And welcome to the Severson family. This is my brother and my sister. I'm the one on the far right, my brother is the one in the yellow, and my sister's the one in the red. We've always been a pretty big Star Trek family. This is right around the time where I started to really know that something was different. I always idolized the female heroes in movies. I never really had any masculine idols. I could feel it differently in my heart that I was not who I was supposed to be. All I'm really trying to say here is that I knew since I was like 3 years old that there was something different about me and that I wasn't the way that everyone saw me or thought that I should be, but I couldn't really put a name to it until I got older. And welcome to high school. As you can imagine, the feelings I've been having all my life were pretty strong around this time, but I managed to, hide them. I made some good friends, I had some good times, I did some really fun stuff with some really cool people, and for a while everything was okay. And then I graduated and I did dumb shit like this. This was for a free shot of really expensive rum, okay? Leave me alone. Now, obviously, the good times didn't last forever, and the bad feelings always come back. Anyone who's wrestled with anything like depression or anxiety or dysphoria, I wrestle with all three, but anyone who wrestles with anything like that will know that anytime their good times roll in, it's always going to come to an end sooner or later. Now, for me, that happened about a year or two after graduating high school. I fell into a really kind of a dark phase, and I was just a very angry person, not overly fun to be around, at least in my opinion. And I started having thoughts of self-harm and suicide, and I started doing stupid things. I remember one time I was driving in my car at night. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's a highway around Drumheller that's, anyone who lives out in the country will know these highways. They're a highway where there's lots of hills, and there's lots of windy curves, and there's like, it's pitch black. There's no light at all. It's not a nice straight highway. Go away, Twitter. It's not a nice straight highway. It's, obviously they can be treacherous. Very narrow shoulders. They can be treacherous. And I was driving along, and I got my car up to like 180, I think, during a particularly curvy part. And I closed my eyes and I let go of the steering wheel. And I have no idea how I did not crash and die. Somehow I made that out of that one alive. But it was really at that point, that was kind of the first really conscious thing that I had done that would indicate a suicide attempt, or not necessarily an attempt, but that would indicate a not really caring if I lived or died thing that I had going on for a really long time. But it was the first, it was something that jolted me, and it scared me into thinking that I need to figure out what the heck is going on, and I need to find help.
Just like I'm dead, gotta go out for a drive and get the hell out of this city. Sneaking up on me from my history, dragging me along to run things down into the gutter.
So then I moved to the city with a friend of mine. We were working together for his carpentry business, and for a while, again, things really worked out, and I was so busy that I couldn't focus on any of my problems. I couldn't focus on my feelings, and I was able to bury everything. And for about a month, things were really good in Calgary, and then things didn't work out with his business, and then I was alone in the city with no job, and it was a really tough time for me. Okay, so I know you guys must be screaming at me to just get to the point already, but all of this is relevant, I promise. So as you can imagine, it was in the city, living on my own in my apartment, that I really started to confront and deal with these feelings that I've been having all my life. It was then that I had the time just on my own always. I would go to work, I'd come home. I never really had anyone that I could go see in the city. I didn't really have any friends, and as a person who has social anxiety and who's also pretty introverted, it made it very difficult for me to go out and meet new people. I did, though. I made some really, really great friends in the city, but for a while, all I had was myself, and I had nowhere to hide from myself. So it forced me to deal with these things instead of just running from them. So the first time that I really had any idea that transitioning was even a serious option, and that it was even a real thing that wasn't just being made fun of in movies, was when I was introduced to the band Against Me. And I was introduced to this band, this amazing band, one of my all-time favorite bands, by my two former roommates that I used to live in just before I left for the city. They introduced me to this band, and this band saved my life. So really, I kind of owe them a lot. So thank you guys so much if you're watching this. Listening to the music of Against Me was amazing. It changed my whole perspective on things. I know that sounds completely cliche, but listening to what Laura Jane Grace was saying really opened my own eyes as to my own feelings. Seeing someone else out there in a positive way who was like me, someone who I could relate to, finally somebody that I could say, that's me, that's who I am. And seeing someone doing this and being successful was really important for me. It made that underline the point that if she can do it, so can I. I can do this. This is not something that's impossible. Suddenly, this was a possibility. And as soon as it became a possibility, it became something that I knew that I was going to do. And I knew that it was going to be very hard. I knew it was going to be difficult for the people in my life to adapt. I knew it was going to be difficult for me to adapt. And I knew it was going to be difficult to deal with some of the things that people like me have to deal with. But I also knew that if I didn't do it, my life was just going to spiral even worse than it had been before. And then it would just end with me actually offing myself. And I knew that that's not something that I wanted to do. I was conscious enough of it that I did not want to go through with that. So I chose to start my transition. I chose to be like Laura Jane Grace and finally live as myself and start my transition.
Claire, my love, you told me once the world would go on and on and on, with us in tow, with us in tow. But Claire, my love, I just can't see the beauty you taught me to. I'm sorry I failed you. I hope you know that I did love you. Delusions of importance are blocking my view of the ocean we made together. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you to come home, home.
My story really isn't a lot different than most stories from people in my position. I knew ever since I was little that I was a girl, that I was never a boy. It took me a lot longer than I wish it did for me to finally make the decision to transition. I came out on July 3rd, 2014, and my only regret is that it didn't come out sooner. My family has been amazingly supportive. I cannot thank them enough for how amazing they've been. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me and for keeping an open mind and for really making an effort. It means the world to me. It means so much. I can't even begin to say. There are so many people in my life that I need to thank, but there's just not enough time in this video. So I hope this will be an adequate thank you to all of you. If you're watching this, thank you so much for the support that you've given me. As of making this video, I have been publicly out for about a year and 8 months and ish, so a little over a year and a half, and I have been on HRT for about 10 months. Things have definitely come a long way. It feels like it's been a long time, but it's only been in such a short amount of time that I've actually been able to make all this progress, and I really am blessed, and I'm really thankful to everyone in my life, from my family and friends all the way up through my doctors and the medical system. Finally, I'm getting to live as who I am. As difficult as life can be sometimes, life is looking up. If you are considering starting a gender transition and you're afraid, just know that it's scary at first. It's terrifying. The first time I went out to buy clothes on my own, it was terrifying. I almost couldn't do it. But you get past that and it gets better. It does get better. You just wait for it. It's worth the wait. It's amazing. I would not go back. I wouldn't, even if I could. I would not go back. And this is who I am, and I'm proud to be who I am, and I'm proud of everyone who goes through this. I'm hoping that someday it won't even be a big deal. That's kind of my story in a nutshell. So if you guys have any questions, if you want me to answer anything else, just let me know. Leave a comment, and I'll maybe make a follow-up video answering some of your questions, or I'll include it in my next Q&A video that I hope to get done at some point. So that's the end of this video. I hope that it was able to shed some light on some stuff for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you want to know anything else, just leave a comment below, and I'll see what I can do. Maybe make another video at some point soon. So we'll see about that. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching it, and I love you all. You're all very much appreciated. It's amazing that you were watching my stuff. So thank you, and I will see you all later. Bye, everybody.